House Republicans capped off the week with a spectacle of hearings. On Wednesday, the Oversight Committee held a session to examine the supposed role Twitter had in suppressing the Hunter Biden 2020 laptop story. Republicans accused the social media giant of silencing voices on the right.
You can consider your speech canceled during my time because you canceled mine. You see, you permanently banned my personal Twitter account.
You silenced me from communicating with the American people over a freaking joke. Now, who the hell do you think that you are?
Ooh, child. And a day after that hot mess, the House's weaponization subcommittee had its inaugural hearing to expose what the Republican majority calls government misconduct toward conservatives. Instead, it felt more like a Fox News fever dream filled with conspiracy theories and personal grievances.
I want to assure you both that we come not to trash the FBI, but to rescue the FBI from political capture.
Dozens and dozens of whistleblowers, FBI agents coming to us, talking about what's going on, the political nature at the Justice Department.
Noticeably missing from these hearings, the real issues the American people care about. A recent poll found that only 16% of Americans think Republicans' fixation on these investigations is important. Republicans have a massive credibility problem, something Democrats were quick to point out when it was their turn at the mic.
It's just an abuse of public resources, an abuse of public time. We could be talking about health care. We could be talking about bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. We could be talking about abortion rights, civil rights, voting rights. But instead, we're talking about Hunter Biden's half-fake laptop story.
I'm deeply concerned about the use of this select subcommittee as a place to settle scores, showcase conspiracy theories, and advance an extreme agenda that risk undermining Americans' faith in our democracy.
Joining me now is the person you just saw, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett of the Virgin Islands, ranking member of the subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government and former House impeachment manager in Trump's second trial. Congresswoman, welcome back to the Sunday Show. Based on how the first weaponization subcommittee hearing went, what do you anticipate we'll see come out of future hearings in the next 2 years?
It's so good to be with you, Jonathan. And I think we're going to see the same claims, the claims that were debunked and disproven years ago. They're going to use lies, misinformation, and outright conspiracy theories to attack the president and advance a really dangerous MAGA agenda. And they're going to do that up into the 2024 election with this committee, unfortunately.
You know, during the hearing, chairman of the committee, Congressman Jim Jordan, defended Republicans' use of subpoenas, issuing 3 last Friday without any negotiations with Democrats. First, are you worried about the precedent this sets? And should those subpoenas be honored?
Well, it's ironic, isn't it, Jonathan, that an individual like Jim Jordan, who ignored a subpoena from Congress itself when they were subpoenaing him, is now up in flames and you know, hair on fire about the Justice Department and other federal agencies honoring his subpoena. And of course, there was no time frame, not just negotiate with us as Democrats, but there was no discussion with the Justice Department about this is the information we need. This is what we would like to see. How can we get through to you with that? And that's what our witness, Elliot Williams, so eloquently laid out when he discussed the accommodation process, which has been going on before. And Jonathan, another area that we're really concerned with these subpoenas, and of course, the Justice Department, FBI, they're going to honor the subpoenas, right? They're going to do what's within the law. The issue is going to be when they use this committee to try and to undermine ongoing criminal investigations. Law enforcement has actions against domestic terrorists, perpetrators of fake election conspiracies, January 6th insurrectionists, and of course, the main target and the main person that they were trying to protect, former President Donald Trump. And the Justice Department will not, and we will not, as Democrats on this committee, allow the Republicans to undermine ongoing criminal investigations.
And in fact, you heard me saying, because that was going to be my next question to get, you made that point. at that hearing, and I was going to ask you why you felt that potential conflict was worthy of highlighting. You answered the question, so I'm going to move to my next question. As a former House impeachment manager, what's your reaction to Special Counsel Jack Smith's issuing a subpoena to former Vice President Mike Pence as part of his investigation into Trump's effort to overturn the 2020 election?
Well, you know, me and my girlfriends call him No Joke Jack, right? He is going to go where the investigation is leading him. We're really grateful for that. He has been methodical in this, and I think we're going to see some resolutions very quickly. I think he's keenly aware that this has to be, a recommendation has to be made well before we get into the presidential election cycle. And I think that Pence is, of course, a very important individual in these discussions. I'm sure he had conversations with the president about the January 6th, about classified information, about all of the things that President Trump has, it is alleged that he has done, or issues that might be criminal in nature. And so I think it's appropriate for him to go where the information and the evidence leads him. And of course, that's not only right at the door of former President Pence, but of course, the man himself, Donald Trump.
And with that, we're going to leave it there. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, thank you very much, as always, for coming to the Sunday Show.